Wow.
Those are the kind of parties I went to in college, okay?
Well, one guy playing the guitar, everyone else sitting around, you're drinking wine.
I was the guitarist, sing Kumbaya to my pizza before I ate it.
It's a bunch of baloney. Hey, everybody. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Zee Garcia.
Where's my
What do you
clipboard?
need?
You even asked me beforehand, and I thought I had it, but I don't.
You didn't.
Hey!
What is this? Garbage.
It's a coaster, okay? By the way, you can get your own coaster from the Dice Tower. If you write to us.
No! What are you talking about? You want Dice Tower stuff? Go to Dice Tower merch. Did we already do our names? We did.
Yeah, you're missing a clipboard.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Zee, the Coastmeister Garcia.
I don't know what I did with that clipboard.
Do you need a clipboard? Did you have your top 10 memorized?
No, it was the backers.
Oh, do you need me to run?
That clipboard.
Did you leave it in the other studio?
You probably
Oh, that's
left
right.
it in the other
We
studio.
moved from one studio to the other studio.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
been a whirlwind of activity today, folks. If you joined us this morning, you know.
We're back.
It's party time. And here's some of the people who made this party possible. Thank you.
Wow.
We have.
Real slick.
We have Lee Nicholas,
Absolutely.
Brent, Rebecca, Tyler, Sam, and Hannah. Welcome to the party. Joshua Fessenden and Isabel Ketavid.
I love it. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Stefan Satin. Satin, sorry. Sorry.
Satan has backed the Kickstarter.
Jody
Thank you for your
Tuckaden,
money, Satan.
Rebecca Day, and the Blanchard family. Will, Amy, Penny, Lincoln, and Charlotte.
Blanchards.
I'm reading the next one, too. Lady Cookie, Kairos Pringlesworth.
I don't know name.
No. Lady Cookie Kairos Pringlesworth?
Yes.
I wonder if she's related to Satan.
Is Andrew
thank
WK
you.
not on the list there?
What?
Is Andrew WK not on the list there? That's a guy who sings a song. You don't know who he is.
Got it.
He sings about parties and of Satan sometimes.
All right.
There you go.
Party game. So here we go. This is, we realized that we haven't done this list since 17, I think. It's been 6 years or so.
I did not look at my old list. I just made it. It's probably fairly similar, but I didn't check.
I think a lot of my stuff, I have some oldies and goodies and stuff, but I have...
You've not done this list before, right?
I've not before,
All right,
no.
so you have some fresh stuff. And I got some definitely new stuff. I made my list before I looked at the older one because I was curious what would change. However, so some caveats here. What's a party game? I'll know it when I see it. These are games, I don't know how else to say it, that I would take them to a party. That's what it is.
What kind of party?
Like the guy singing Kumbaya to the pizza party?
No, a Christmas party, a Thanksgiving party, a Halloween party. Maybe not a Halloween party, but some kind of party. I take them to parties. I deliberately excluded party-adjacent games because I'm going to make that a top 10 list eventually. And that includes things like Ready, Set, Bet, or other maybe can't stop. Some people might consider that a party game. Like you roll dice and, oh, woo, everyone's cheering. And it's things like that. Camel Up. I didn't put on my list. That's racing games can sometimes devolve into party games and stuff.
I think what I did was there's a lot of party atmosphere games, and I think all the ones you're saying fall into like an atmosphere of levity and party-like.
And almost every dexterity game falls in that category.
Sure. But I find most of those games have too many rules for the party I'm envisioning here. So
Right.
my list just has really simple rules. That's the main cutoff point.
Happily, so do all of mine.
Yeah, I agree, right? There's something about the mood of a party where you might be having to compete with inebriation or background noise that I don't want to be teaching the intricacies of games.
Right.
Right. We're here to have a fun time. I wouldn't include something that can't stop because it maxed out at 4 people. Most editions, I think, of it, right? So player count was a consideration, so I tried to swing high as I could, but some of these cap out at like 6, and that's fine. That's still enough people. I'm not expecting the whole party to stop having fun and come play my game.
Right.
That's true. For once, I don't have I'm always running to put a game on the list that's like 4 or less, which, I mean, still could be a party game, but, and some of these can be played with 4, but these all go to at least 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crossovers, at least
Oh, at least
1
5.
3-way, and a lot more than that.
At least 8.
And I'll tell you why. Because party games, there's a ton of them. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands of them. And yet the ones that are the best rise to the top. They're clearly better than the rest.
I think
And they
I'll
stick
have-
around. There's not that many new ones every year that rise to the top. Good party games sort of continue to be the good party games.
And some are very derivative. And so
Yeah.
you say, well, that one's fun, but I'll just still play blah, blah, blah game.
Right.
Yeah, well, here we go with number 10.
All right. So starting off here, the list with number 10. I don't know if either of you two have played this
I
one.
love it. It's one of my favorites. It just didn't make my list.
Tom, I think that you might have refused to play this one because it's been featured a few times in the Dice Tower convention vlogs. And it has a giant inflatable bat. It is called Poetry for Neanderthals. This is a game that is very derivative of games where, party games a lot of times fall into a category. Make your teammate guess a word.
What are we doing? We doing video again?
On a few of them. This is important, okay?
That's true. I do need to see what it looks like, to be fair. When you describe being hit on the head with a club, I can't really envision that unless you show me in video.
This is key, right? This is core to the game here. This is honestly what separates it a little bit from other games.
Poor Ben, he's getting hit so many times.
I have not played this one. I have played the other one that had inflatable clubs.
That was called...
Tect.
Yeah,
Ugtech.
Ugtech.
Have you played Ugtech?
I've not, no.
I need someone who has played both tell me the difference, because when I see this, I'm thinking, oh, I played it already, because I played Ugtech.
So the idea of this one, teammate, make them guess word, right? But the fun hook is, one, there's a giant inflatable club, but two, you can only speak in one-syllable words. And so
Got it.
You're playing Taboo, you're playing those type of games, right? And the word there in the middle is something like deodorant. And you're like, when you know smell good, put in pit, right? Or you say these things that are one syllable and they sound so dumb.
It sounds fun.
It is fun. And the thing
What's
is,
the club for?
if you mess up, it's like the buzzer in Taboo. So you get hit, you wonk, right? You get whomped in the head, and you throw your card in the red space, -1 point.
Got it.
The other thing I think sets this game apart is it might say like the card that you need to make your teammates guess has a word on the top, and if you make them guess it, then you can throw it in the yellow area for 1 point.
Okay.
Or there's an advanced one. So it might say like antiperspirant deodorant. So if I made you guess deodorant by, no smell good stick rub, you're like, oh,
In pit.
cool. In pit. Yeah, you say, oh, deodorant. I can try to make you guess the harder version of it next and get 3 points out of it. So it's just one little extra rule. It's fun, it's silly. The one syllable thing really sells the game. So I have a lot of
That
fun
sounds
with it.
good.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
try this.
Yeah,
We
big
should
sh-
try this.
Wait, this never came through the Dice Tower Studios, I don't think. That's why I've not played it, I think.
Maybe not, yeah. No, it's fun. I think it'd be great to see live. It's very funny. But yeah, no, I really like it a lot as well as a game. So my number 10, Poetry for Neanderthals.
I'm assuming you can play it without the bonking if you hate bonking.
Right, and if you, like, this wouldn't work in the convention library necessarily because you would have to inflate
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
right.
And I'm not about to do that on a communal stick. So, yeah, you could just say,
Oh,
wrong
man. How do you get around that?
pool noodle.
Everybody bring their own stick.
Bring your own stick party.
Yeah, BYOS. My number 10 is a game called Time Bomb, also known as Don't Mess with Cthulhu, also known as, I don't know.
Oh, is this
No, what's the
no
good
touch?
name?
Is this No Touch Kraken?
Yeah,
No
No Touch
Touch
Kraken.
Kraken. Yeah,
Yes.
so this is not No Touch Kraken. This is the sequel to that.
Okay, right.
Which
No
I
Touch
was-
Kraken 2.
Yeah,
The Krakening.
that's right.
Was Kraken.
Was Kraken.
I apologize. My name. Go ahead.
This one is a little bit of a better game. The original one is if you're one of the cultists, force somebody to flip over the Cthulhu, or the bomb in this case. If you're not one of the cultists, or whatever, the bombers, whatever, then try to avoid that thing. And you always have to reveal a card in front of somebody else. They know what they have. They don't know where it is in front of them. They look at them all and kind of shuffle, and they're like, no, I'm good, I'm safe. Go ahead, take one of mine. That kind of thing. It's that party atmosphere. Bluffing, social deduction. This one's a little bit better because it's not an all or nothing. It's not one card that busts the game, and you find that one, and bam, game's over. It could be like a minute. I've seen it happen. This one, you need to, what you're revealing is colors, like the orange and the yellow cards there, and you need to, if you get to a certain amount of them, of one bad color or whatever, then you trigger the end of the game, but the other colors, you can collect them and do stuff. So it's a little bit of a better game. It has a little bit more to it.
Breaking your rule of having too many rules.
It's pretty straightforward. It's only complex compared to No Touch Kraken because it's incredibly basic.
And I'm sure you could teach that effect. You're partway through the game. Be like, all right, if we get the third red, this is what happens.
And this is the most complicated game of the whole list here. So it's also it's the one that's least party-like and least simple. So that's why it gets my 10. But I really like this game. It's just really fun, evocative, and got almost no attention to follow up, but it is so much better than the first one. So
Everyone played the original.
I didn't really like the original that much. I thought it was fine, but it's too fragile.
yeah, this one's better. So that's my number 10. Time Bomb, No Touch, Evolution, Kraken.
My number 10 was number 1 last time we did this list.
Oh my goodness!
It's dropped quite a bit, although again, it's
Now
sitting
you
above
hate
another
it.
400 party games.
Right.
I almost got a new version of this game at Germany Essen, but someone else here stole my copy. Not someone else here, but someone else associated with Dice Tower. And well, I'm going to steal it back. They won't even notice. Anyhow, this is Spyfall.
Got it.
I was talking about the new Star Wars. It's not new, but apparently in Russia there's a Star Wars version of Spyfall. Honestly, I don't even know why I want it, because there's a DC version of Spyfall, which has been sitting in a Dice Tower library for like 5 years straight, and no one has ever touched it. But
but
Spyfall...
it's not Star Wars, is it?
That's true. As Spyfall, Spyfall 2, Spyfall Through History, whatever. They're all the same game. I don't know. I just had such a good time playing this. Now, this one is also slightly fragile
It is.
in that if the person who's a spy has to ask the very first question, which happens more often than not, it seems, it's hard for them to ask a question that doesn't, or they get asked the very first question, I guess.
Then they're like, oh, yeah, it is fragile, unfortunately. And there's no good way to solve that.
But it is a hilarious game because it also doesn't matter. You just go and start again, which, yes, I know can apply to No Touch Kraken. I like this game. I love the humor in it. It does require, more so than most of the games on my list, it requires most of the people to get into it. You know, if you just sit back and answer and just... You can't passively play Spyfall.
It's group dependent, again, to a fault, right? And yeah, it's fragile is the best way to put it. It depends on a lot of things. Right atmosphere, right people, right order of things happening.
I think it's my favorite of this genre party games, though. That's the one person doesn't know the thing everyone else knows. There's ones that are based on words. There's ones based on different things. I think Spyfall still works kind of the best.
Yeah.
There's drawing ones like that. This is one I would go to, I think, first before.
That's true. There's a lot of these, and in fact, I consider there's a lot, and they might show up on your list, some of the other games, so I'm not going to mention them yet, but there's a lot of other games that in that same category I considered, but I realize I don't want to play them all the time. I kind of like party games that are more, I mean, because this is getting close to social deduction in many ways, and I put there's only 2 that are close to social deduction on my list. This is one of them. But because one person's the spy, right? You're trying to figure it out, but it's done in a silly manner, not in a everyone's staring at each other, trying to figure out who was a spy.
Yeah, the suspicion is very lighthearted, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's my number 10, Spyfall.
My number 10 is adjacent to social. My number 9 is adjacent to social deduction. Thank you, Roy.
Sorry, I'm 5 seconds behind in the conversation. Continue.
Yeah, so this one here is, I feel, I was debating between 2 different games to put in this spot.
Which one did you pick?
I picked the one.
Well, tell us what you didn't pick.
Okay, well, I did not pick Skull.
Ooh, what would you put into the Skull? Liar's Dice?
It's a little bit more hipstery than that, and I don't like the fact that I did it. But this one plays up to 9 people. It's called In Vino Morte.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is a little button shy game. It's a wallet game. And all this one is there's cards that are either poison or wine. and when you're the active person, the dealer, you choose whether you're going to give each player poison or wine, face down. And then going around clockwise, each player can either reveal their card and say, I bet it's wine, and if it's poison, then they're out of the game, or if it's wine, they're safe. Or they can exchange it with one other player. And then you just keep going around the table doing that until everyone's gone around once, and then everybody flips over any remaining cards, and if you're poisoned, you're out. So it sounds like it shouldn't be that fun, and yet it's that lighthearted suspicion that you were talking about. It's social deduction, adjacent, it's really light on it, and it shouldn't be as fun as it is. And so I put it kind of in the same category of Skull, in that it's not that thinky. There's not that many rules.
No, I
Okay
think
with that.
Skull, compared to this, though, is a Vital Lacerda game. I've played both, and this is like what you pull out when everybody's been drinking and the conversation just got into a lull a little bit, and you're like, all right, everybody, here, grab a card. You want to drink it? You might die, though, or you can swap it. Like, that's all the rules. You know how to play it out. Like, that's the whole thing. It's fun.
If you like that, then you got to try that good face, bad face game.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
there's
Tom
some
was talking about
similarities to that.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that, actually. Is that a recent?
It's
Yeah.
a big potato game, but it's you just pass a stack of cards to somebody, and they can flip the top card or not. And you've made the stack of good and bad. Bad is, well,
Oh,
bad.
cool. Yeah.
It's
It's
silly,
very
but
similar. It's like Skull.
Yeah. No, I like this one more than I think I should. It's not like an amazing game to blow the doors down.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I had a good time with it too, but again, it was like a perfect situation.
I agree. I think this is more, hey, in that perfect situation, which I think is more likely to happen at a party
Yes.
than anywhere else.
Yes. All right, cool. My number 9 is one that we've played live a few times, and it's a game called Stay Cool.
really, this made your
Stay
top
Cool
10.
is funny, man. Yeah, it always, again, it's not
Wow.
one I want to play all the time, but I always have a good time with it, and it's one of the few that I enjoy playing as much as I enjoy watching.
See, I was just
being
thinking
played.
this would be in my top 10 games I like to watch.
Yeah, you're being asked
so
a question. Two people are asking you on your turn a question. You have to answer one of them verbally. The other one you have to answer with these dice that have letters. That's round 1. Then in round 2, you have to like move this timer also. And if you forget to flip the timer, you're locked out. And then like third round, you need to tell somebody else to do the timer, and you can't see it anymore. It's just crazy, chaotic, fun, filled with laughter. I really, really like this one. This is a silly game. And again, it's kind of a one-trick pony in many ways. A lot of party games are. But yeah, this is one of the ones I discovered here that I don't even know if I would have picked up off a shelf and tried. But you bringing it to the table and
I
trying
don't think you would have played it if I said, hey, I'm going to explain the game to you first.
Yeah.
How do you
Sure.
think- do you think you would enjoy that? I think you would say no.
No, that sounds like a mess, like a hot mess.
It sounds like work, but it's actually very fun.
It's
Yeah.
very fun and funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
And
both
you're like,
to do
and
and
if
watch.
you're watching this and you're like, oh, I'd be terrible at this, so is everybody.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Right.
Yeah, this is really good. So my number 9, Stay Cool.
All right, my number 9 is the biggest game on my list. It's the one I played with the most people
HeroScape.
in my life. Because each time I play this, I play it with like 100 plus people sometimes. And that is Wits and Wagers.
Oh my gosh, got it.
It's true.
I was going to say werewolf?
So now Wits and Wagers, though, so every time I talk about this, Wits and Wagers, yes, I realize that I play it with the team variant, or, we play a big, giant version of the game. But recently, I played a single
Normal
person,
one?
a normal one. I was at Dice Tower West. I didn't have a voice. This game really holds up. It's such a solid game. In fact, it's such a solid game that the main method of the no one knows the answer, but you try to get close to it has been copied by dozens of games since. Lots of games are trying to recreate the magic. Wits and Wagers, and I'm talking Wits and Wagers. I'm not talking about family. I'm not talking about, Vegas is fine. I'm not talking about the other one, Party, Vegas, or regular Wits and Wagers. Is that my mat? That's a good mat. That's the Vegas mat.
I think yeah, definitely is. It's Vegas.
I like that mat.
One of my favorite moments with this game is we were at a game night years ago. I mean, over a decade ago, and it was like about time. The conversation lulled. It's about time to pull out a game. Our friend looks over and goes, "Oh, I love Wits and Waggers." Did not live that down the rest of the night.
It's Waggers. It's like
I'm
lager.
sorry. Yeah.
That's really? That he doesn't know how to pronounce wagers, or was he just...
I have no idea what
were you
happened.
giving out a lot of wine?
Not at that time. Mostly poison.
Fair enough. Anyway, Wits and Wagers, my number 9. That Chris is poisoning his party.
That's funny to me. I don't know those people.
You're a harsh man.
I don't know those people. They could have all died. I don't know. It's
You
true.
don't know. That's true, yeah. My story, my rules.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm passing out poison at my party.
My number 8 was a newer game on the list, but it's a newer variation on one that's been around for a while. I think that I think the original game is going to be on someone else's list here.
Tom's.
My number 8 is Stella, a Dixit Universe game. This one I enjoy more than Dixit. I've always been okay with Dixit. Now, I've played Dixit about a dozen times, and every time I play it, it's fine. It's fun. It's not a bad way to pass time at a party. I really like the way that Stella takes the same cards, the abstract art, lays it out in a grid, and then gives you a target word. That target word might be something like lighthearty. And you on your own little player board there.
What's the word?
Lighthearty. Party. Light party. Hardy.
What?
Har.
Pirate. Got it.
I want to know more about this word.
Lighthearted.
Come on. Lighthearty, man. Har.
I bet that guy who said Wits and
The
Waggers.
Waggers.
He's laughing at you now
He's watching. I hope he is.
from beyond the grave. He died. Everybody at that party died, we found out.
I've been
So
a
much
ghost
of the
for
story I'm learning about. His ghost is in the room. That's why the computer didn't work this morning.
yeah.
I've learned so much.
The ghost of Alex. I like Stella. I like that you everyone marks their board simultaneously, and then you kind of take turns pointing out cards you think other people also crossed off on their board. I really like that. It just works better for me. It speaks to the way that I want to play that game, and so I have fun with it a lot. I think it's still beautiful, and so Stella.
Here's my
Dixie
reason
Universe
I
game.
didn't put this on my list, is because I think it works best at 4.
Okay.
And it's more of a thinky game, and it's party-esque, but it's not as party. I wouldn't like. It's not woo.
But neither is Dixit for me. Every
What?
time I play, people take it. It's a very pensive.
I got some people in our
Game.
game group who Zee's played with. I'd like to introduce to you to play Dixit with.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that game? It's the first time you met someone with the same name as me. And you remember the game now?
I remember the person. And that's enough. I also didn't put Stella on my list, but I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's just, again, and what it does, I'm representing with 2 other games on my list, but
Okay.
it is a game I really, really like. It didn't find its way onto this list. Maybe because it's 4, maybe because it is a little more thoughtful. I don't know. There's a couple of rules there that are a little funny. If you
I
bet the
could agree with
least
that.
and didn't make it, then you get the times 2. There's a couple of little rules that are very gamery rules.
Yeah, you're right. I could live with that argument. This is the one that I'm going to have to make sure people are willing to focus a little more. I'm going to explain this rule 3 times. I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, my number 8 is one I play at a lot of our retreats, actually. And it's a game called Guess Club. Guess Club is a trivia game, ish, in which everybody has a topic is picked, and you can use a card from the game or just make up whatever you want. So you could say bands, musical bands, and everybody writes like 8 of these things, and they're holding these cards. And then on your turn, you either play one out and say, okay, Dave Matthews Band, and anybody who picked that will also be like, yep, I picked it. If you matched anybody, you take a pot of money from the center. If you didn't, you leave some money, unfortunately. You add to that pot. The other option is you make a bet as to how many matches will be made when somebody, any one of the people, runs out of cards entirely. And if you're right, you get a big bonus of money. And that's the game. You play 3 rounds of that.
I've never played this.
This one is
Use
really,
a dummy then.
This is really good.
Is it in the Dice Tower library?
It is not.
Use a dummy.
Did this come through the Dice Tower? I don't remember it.
I don't know.
Have you reviewed it?
I think I reviewed it a long time ago. Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
I want it. I want to play it.
I have it. I will show it to you, and we can play it. It's a good. Have you played with me?
Maybe.
remember?
Yeah.
I played it like the last time I played it was at the retreat with a group. I actually played I played Stereo Mind, which is very, very quick with a couple of people, and then played this with a big group.
Well, Stereo Mind I've played.
Stereo Mind is very fun, like a quick burst of energy. This is a little more lumbering. It's a little bigger. It takes a little bit longer. There's more rules with the betting and the whatever, and have to explain to people how that works. But it's fun. It's a fun one. And again, as long as it's not like a drinking party and people are sort of have the clarity of mind about them, they can get into this one and it's a fun time. So I really do like it. That is Guest Club. And those pictures that showed up the cover and the components are actually from different editions.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right, my number 8 is the least gamery of all the games on my list, but it's so funny I don't care. The original name of this game, the public domain game, is Eat Poop You Cat, but the published game is Telestrations.
Eat, poop, you cat.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, Telestrations, and I'll even say this, if you want to crank Telestrations up to 11, get the 80s, 90s party pack, or
Illustrations After Dark.
what? What is going on there?
That's quite a
Indiana Jones.
He's fighting his number one nemesis, German snakes.
Also, why is there a nipple?
What is... It's so confusing. I'm so confused by this picture.
It's clearly Indiana Jones.
I got it.
With a lightsaber whip.
Anyhow, so in this game, you know, one person writes a word down, the next person draws a picture of that word, the next person writes the word what they think that picture is.
Yes.
And it works much better if you get everyone in the spirit and say, when you see a picture, write exactly what you think it looks like. You wouldn't write Indiana Jones, you write Indiana Jones with a lightsaber whip.
Right.
And then the next person draws that, and it just goes bonkers. I mean, I've fallen out of my chair laughing at when you reveal them at the end. They're so good. And no one cares who wins. I think there's a scoring in this game. I don't know that I've ever played with it.
I don't even know
how it works. Yes. The game, this is the thing. The funny thing about this is I think this game as a game with rules and scoring is not that good.
Because you're trying to get the right answer.
Yeah, because you are, like, if you saw that, you'd write Indiana Jones, and you want it to actually be the same. That's
Right.
the most boring version of what this could be. So I think this game as a game is not that interesting. I think as an activity in which you allow that kind of and encourage it, it is fall down funny.
I know, and I know that pushes it being on this list, because there are other games that are close to being activities. Well, there's a lot, actually, and a lot of party games can be that way anyway. You don't care what the score is. Who cares? We're just having a good time.
Sure.
But this one is the most like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
no disagreements at all.
But it's fun, and you can buy a version of this. I think that goes to 12 people.
Yeah, the
which
big
is
party pack
great. So, yeah. Telestrations.
All right, my number 3 is one that was introduced to me by the illustrious Michael DeLisio.
Ooh!
This one's called
he in the
3
chat?
Second Try. This
Oh
is from
my
the little...
gosh.
This
Is
is
this
in
one
your
of these,
top
like...
10?
I really had fun
Oh
with
my
this.
gosh. We've fallen to the hipsters.
You put Guest Club. That's like a hard to find Japanese game that
It's
no
also
one
not
can
like
get.
a tiny... Look, this is not even a game.
It is. They're trying to assign scissors, rock, paper a certain number of times before that little marble hits the end of the track
This
there.
is so
I love
stupid.
Naruto.
Here's what I'm saying. This game,
This is like Avatar: The Last Airbender is trying to cast a water wave. So dumb.
this game for me is off the list for me. I think it's fun. The physical challenges take it off. I do not want to stand up and see how many times I can jump in by the time that thing comes down. That's less fun as you get older, some of these physical things.
Sure.
It's not just less fun, it's more dangerous.
Also, yeah, and some people don't want to do them. You know what I mean? It's because of that. I don't know. I just I'm amused by this, but
When we play, so you reveal either a brain challenge or a body challenge. So this one is an example of a body challenge, even though it's breaking both Eric and Mike's
well, we
brains.
go to the next screen.
Oh man, I love seeing Mike freak out there with the hair flip. Look at the hair flip one time. Look at it. Oh, no. Come on! Oh no! It's me! Mike Delisio is in the chat, by the way, folks. I apologize for that.
But
I apologize for nothing.
so the game, what's great about it is you're not just trying to do it. You drop the marble down the track once, and everybody yells out a number. How many times they think they can do the challenge, right? Someone says 4. Another person says 3, right? They'll come in underneath you because if the person can't do it 4 times and grab the marble before it clicks on the magnet, then it goes to the next person who said 3. You might say 1, and the person in front of you blows it, and you just have to do the thing once, grab the marble and rub it in their faces.
The marble
very
track
fun.
is a feat of magic. I love the marble track. Are you allowed to say something to the person before you said? The rules aren't clear on it, I don't think.
If someone says 4 and you say 4,
No, if someone says 4 and you say 3, and then I start listing and I can only think of 3 things, can you say the same 3 things I said?
I say why not? You flew too close to the sun. You bid too high.
Well, this does handle the thing, like 25 words or less, this handles that problem. If you can't, I say that in some of these games, like the person who goes the lowest or the high, in this case, the highest number.
Whoever bids highest.
They're the only one who's playing. Mm-hmm. But if they're wrong, then it goes to the next person. And I like that a lot.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, this is a niche, weird, bizarre, but very fun game called 3 Second Try.
I definitely
like it a lot.
agree. Flash in the pan. Someone said that
I've
in
not
chat.
tried this. I would be happy to try it. It just sounds so ridiculous.
Yes.
I hope you get the jumping one.
You can flip over a card and the whole table's like, next. And that is
that
how
I have
play.
done.
There you go. All right, my number 7 is a game known by many names. The version I have is called Bluff. It's also called Perudo. It's also called Liar's Dice. It's also called Pirates Dice. Pirates of the Caribbean edition. Dead Men Tell No Tales Deluxe.
Why are we looking at
Kickstarter exclusive.
Why are we looking at the German version here?
That's the one I happen to have, actually. And that's Perudo.
I was going to say, that is not what's in that box.
It is not. So in this game, you have a cup, you roll the dice, you then make a bet, a bid as to how many of whatever are among all the dice at the table. You're looking obviously only underneath your own cup, and you say there are at least 8 5s across the entire table. And the person next to you goes, well, I think there's at least 10 3s. This continues until you call the last person out for making an outrageous bid, reveal, see who wins. And that's it. You lose some dice for being wrong, and you keep going. I love this game. I've played the snot out of this game. It is very simple. Again, I put it on the list, and I debated putting it on the list because it is sort of, again, a little party adjacent. It's a little like Can't Stop, right? But the atmosphere for this one fits. Mm-hmm. Whereas
it's close.
Can't Stop has that, like, I'm doing that pushing your luck on my own. And everybody else is like, oh, you're going to bust your butt. In this one, there's that, like, tension, rising, ratcheting tension of how many?
Do you play with the reroll rule?
If I'm comfortable with if it's not an actual party, then yes. At an actual party, that might be like one rule too many. You know what I mean? But I love that rule, where after you make a bid, you reveal your cup, put something out, re-roll the rest. You have to leave something, and you have to re-roll something.
You have to make it public.
You have to make it public. Yeah, I love that rule. It's incredibly fun, and it's like, again, it has that like sort of one-upmanship bravado thing where I'm like 12 6s, and I reveal mine and take out 2 and re-roll the rest of the dice. I'm not even going to look at them. You know, it has that whole like, oh, how many are in there? I love this game. It's just fantastic. So, my number 7, Liar's Dice.
My number 7 is maybe has the most rules on this list, maybe, but it's such a fun game, and this is When I Dream.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
So when I dream, one person is blindfolded with like one of those sleeping masks.
Yeah.
and everybody else is giving them clues to very simple cards. The card might be tiger, might be princess, whatever. And going around the table one at a time, people give you one-word clues until you guess it. The problem is, two people at the table or more, it depends on the number of players, are trying to get you to not guess it. They want you to guess it wrong because as soon as you guess, the card is gone. And it goes to the right pile or the wrong pile. And one person at the table, who never wins, is trying to make the piles equal. So they're trying to help you sometimes or not.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how well this works because you sit there, and if it's tiger, Chris might say animal, next person says orange, the next person might say Antarctica, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh, you're a liar. And then I'll ignore you the rest of the game. So you don't want to be too obvious when you're the bad guys. It's a little harder, actually, for the bad guys than the good guys.
Right.
But I'm okay with that because it still makes it a fun game. And then suppose when you're done, you look at all the cards that you got right or wrong, and then you're supposed to tell people what your dream was about, which you do for the first 3 times that you go around the table, and then you never do it again.
No, it's a goofy.
That's not what this game's about.
No.
No, it's a storytelling rule in what is otherwise a good clue-giving game.
Yeah. This is a good one. It's kind of gone now, isn't it? It sort of didn't.
It is.
It didn't it didn't have the staying power, I guess, but it's a fun game.
It's funny to watch, though.
Yeah.
If you're watching this game, because you're not allowed to say anything other than the one word. And then Chris will say a word that's clearly leading Zee astray, and I'm yelling at him silently because I just realized he's the bad guy, because you don't know necessarily at first.
This is one of the few games like this where it's actually kind of more fun to be the good person. Right, a lot of games are more fun when you're the deceiving person.
Oh, it's easier to be the good person.
Yeah.
You're just giving good clues.
But it's more fun because you're sitting there watching someone and doing what you said, like, I know that you're, I know that you're wrong
it's
now.
not hidden, and that's fun. You immediately know somebody's trying to lead them astray, and that's fun.
Yeah, trying to work around them. I like that.
Yeah.
That's when I sleep, or when I dream. Sorry, not when I sleep. That's every day for me.
You know what I've noticed is that there's not been a single crossover yet.
Well, from now on, I said there were going to be 8.
Oh, you're picking weird little games. Someone said we're on Itten's payroll. That's just Mike.
No.
Well, the rest of mine, we're on 6 now. I have 3 of these are Itten games.
Okay. Well, they're good. Now we'll have
All
the
mine are
crossover.
oink all the way out.
So we made it halfway through, but my number 6 is, well, not halfway through. I'm crossing over with Zee on Stay Cool.
Yes.
Wow, this is not going to be a 3-way crossover. I like this game, but not top 10. Wow.
This is fun.
I like it a lot. I get roped into a lot of these games at the retreat or at Dice Tower East or something at like way too late. Because I kind of take the night shift. I help make sure the library's closed down. I'm always kind of on the prowl for like maybe one more game. And as soon as someone looks at me and says, Stay Cool, I'm like, I shouldn't. Shuffle me in. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I agree with everything Zee said. It's so overwhelming and yet just a bombastic fun time. People come by, watch for a little bit, laugh about it, and leave. And then you get those people who come by, laugh about it, and are like, can I try? Like, yes, come on in. So I think it's a game that everyone should experience once, because you might love it even if you think that you won't like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Jason in chat says, well, Tommy says plays during Winter Spectacular. I don't know. We played this like 3 times during the Spectaculars. Jason says he wants Repos to come out with more cards for this. I agree on that. I wouldn't mind seeing some more cards. You do go through a lot of them.
For When I Dream.
Oh, for When I Dream? Oh, he was talking about When I Dream. I was talking about the game you were just talking about.
We're talking about
Stay Cool is from Scorpion Mask, and that also would be better.
That would be weird if
with
Repos
more
came out with
cards.
cards for that.
Yeah. I would love for Hasbro to come out with more cards
Shut up!
for Dominion. My number 6 is one of those eliminate a choice every round until you're down to the correct answer. Similo style. Similo is like the one right now that
It definitely
has
is.
boiled it down to the absolute cleanest, simplest, most basic way, and they're selling like gangbusters, I think. My choice for this is a little more frou-frou, a little more abstract, and that is One Key. One Key is the one I really like.
This is one I don't like.
Yeah? I like
feel it
this
to be
one.
It's too abstract.
It is very abstract. It's kind of like Dixit if You could play probably with Dixit cards actually, but you put out 11 things or whatever. Yeah, 11, and then one of them is the right answer, the thing that the other people are looking for. It's a cooperative game, and if I'm the clue giver, I have 3 of them in front of me, and I put a little token in front of each. If it's green, that means this should relate to the one you're looking for, and if it's red, you should not. If it's yellow, it's like lateral move, you know? And then the players kind of pick which one they want to look at. Like, show me the circle in front of the sponge or whatever. Boom. And then they have to eliminate something. Every round you have to eliminate a certain number. That's it. If you eliminate the wrong one, you lose. It's similar. It's the same rules. I just like the look of this one. I do like that it's a little more abstract. You have to tackle it the way you would when you play Stella or when you play Dixit, where you're going, well, maybe it's pink and this one's pink, but maybe it's because it's snowing.
You think
and
you
this
should
guy
ban
looks
colors?
cold or whatever, huh?
You think you should ban colors from the game?
No.
No, because I haven't played this particular one, but I feel like
It's like Codenames Pictures. I think you should.
Codenames Pictures is in black and
It's in
white.
black and white.
Yeah.
But there are some games where that's the wrong one. But I know there's some games like that where I'm like, you should ban colors because they're too. It's the obvious thing.
Until that breaks down, and then you never know
Sure.
when it broke down. You know what I mean? I don't care. No, it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like this one. One key is, it's fun. It's silly and lighthearted, and a little bit more of a looker, a little bit more impressive than some of the other offerings that do the same thing. So that's why I like this one.
My number 6 was really, really hot for a year or so, and I haven't heard as much about it in recent years, in the last couple of years, but it's still pretty popular, and that's Wavelength. Wavelength is such a great game. Weird cover. That cover makes it look more serious and like there's a cool game.
Astral projection-y.
Yeah. But the game is literally just about, well, I mean, that's what it is. You're trying to guess where someone put a dial, but it's about giving a word between, 1 to 100 essentially, and you're trying to put this word on this dial, but you have 2 ends to it. It might say hot or cold. And then you look where the points are, and it's in that position there. So I'm like, okay, it's less cold than hot. So then I have to give my team a clue to that regard. So in this case, I might say, Zee's cooking or whatever. That's right.
Pretty
All
hot.
the way to the end, burnt to a crisp.
But whatever. But you can say anything you want. If I said ice cream, you'd think, okay, it must be much colder. But he didn't say ice. So there's those kind of discussions. And they're fun discussions. Everyone on the team is talking, and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, you guys don't know me at all. I like a lot of games like that. And this one works really well. This is one of the few games. This is the second on my list. The next one's my next one, where I will bring this anywhere and play with anybody. Wavelength always works.
Yeah. It's like code names. You can split into any size group, and and people can be as active or as passive playing the game as they want to be.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of fun, even just to kind of watch and be like, yeah, go my team. I didn't really contribute much, but I'm having fun just kind of passively enjoying myself.
Yeah, you can be a backseat player and not be penalized for that.
Yeah, this is really good for that. It also leads to some of the best arguments when people are like, you think ice cream is cold? Have you ever heard of absolute zero? And people are like,
But it is really
"Come
funny
on."
when like fashionable and non-fashionable, and then someone will say something and their spouse will be like, well, clearly it's over here, and then it's not. And then the argument, and everyone is enjoying every moment of it.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
thought you liked tamales. Well, anyhow.
Then everybody gets poisoned.
Wait. When this top 10's over, there's going to be some police waiting outside of the podium.
They're listening.
Where were you the night of October?
Wait, what's the date? Say it again.
October. My number 5. Before I'm going to plead the 5th. Boom. There we go. I'm going to plead the 5th. This is a drawing game that I think this is the second, like the game that I laugh at the second most out of any party game out there, which is why it's so high up there. It is called Doodle Dash.
Oh, wow.
This
Really?
Oh my gosh. So I enjoy drawing games, but I love drawing games where you're encouraged to draw kind of badly. There's a few games called like Really Bad Art or 3 Second, something, or like 5 second drawing and stuff. So these are pictures that we did from our live play of this when we, I think, first kind of discovered this one. And I laughed so hard.
Wait a minute. 2 of those are straight up duplicates.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, one was revealed, the next one was revealed, and then the last one down there on the bottom was you, Tom. The word was cookie. And I don't know what you were drawing down there.
Oh, it's a guy's mouth. That's his big nose and his teeth, and he's eating a cookie, but it's a la mode. Right? Tom's never had a plain cookie in his life.
That's definitely the way I would draw someone's nose about. So that's definitely my picture.
That's Cake Boss cookie.
That's the word for cookie?
Yeah, so
You sure it's not a burger?
So in this game, you have to draw as fast as you can. You want to be the first person. You draw something, you grab a totem in the middle of the table, a big little wooden pole, basically, a little wooden pawn. And then the second person to finish will grab a die and start rolling this die. This is kind of the weakest part. Is you roll the die until you hit the stop side, which is on one of the 6 sides. You might be rolling for a while.
Yeah, that's true, unfortunately, yeah.
But then once that happens, everybody else stops. The person who has to guess the secret word that they don't know, but everybody else knew, looks at only the first drawing and makes a guess. If they're correct, both people get 3 points. If they get it wrong, then the second person who finished, the one who was rolling the die, reveals theirs.
Right.
And the guesser gets the first drawing and the second drawing to kind of work off of. Sometimes you have a weird synergy like this one here where 2 people just drew cookies. And then the rest of the people reveal at the end, and
the
you
third
get
person was drinking Chris's poisoned wine.
this is your last vision
They're
before
quietly asking for help. Yeah.
Yeah. Go watch your live play.
I remember one time someone drew something that was no way a horse.
That was me.
That's
Was that
right,
you?
yeah, but it was like so quick.
Yeah.
And then it was like, whores? And we were all like, no. No.
I still remember that moment. That was
Yeah.
great.
It was great. This is very fun.
You're right. That's a pretty solid game.
It's so good. Yeah, I love this one.
That's fun. Yeah, I like that. All right, my number 5 is going to be one that's very, very popular, and that is So Clover. So Clover is a word game. It's a little more thinky than a lot of these silly or more lighthearted ones, but I just always have a good time with this one. It has a little bit of that Telestrations vibe in which everyone has like a quiet period as we're all doing the thing.
Sure.
And then we go through everyone's. And that part rewards, more than rewards, and justifies the sort of quiet period.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that, this idea of looking at the little cards and being like, oh, the armor and the whatever, they must mean this. No, wait, what about this one over here? And that it gives you party atmosphere and puzzle solving and a glimpse into someone's thought process all in one. And I love that. This game is just fun. I really enjoy it. It's a blast. It's an easy one to bring to the table. People understand it and jump right into it. It's not demanding of you in a stand up and be silly way. So that's also a good one for people who might be a little quieter, a little more, again, I don't really like party games. I like Scrabble. I'm like, okay, let's play So Clover. You're going to enjoy that, word association kind of thing. So for me, this is an absolute winner from the last few years. One of the best party games that's come out in a while. So Clover, my number 5.
Well, and you talk about that quiet period. So one of the interesting things is that when you have a group who just wants to kind of keep playing this, you solve someone's thing, and what I've seen groups kind of just naturally do is that person whose Clover was solved, they just deal themselves more cards while everyone's kind of working through the next person's Clover. They write out new words, and so it's a quiet period at the beginning, and then it just kind of is this rolling momentum.
I haven't done it that way, I think.
Yeah, no, I've seen it happen a few times. Or when people are playing with more than the number of Clovers. They're like, oh, I haven't gone yet. I'll just take your Clover when you're done. I'll start working on mine. And then the game just keeps rolling. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I like that.
Yet another game that I don't care about the scoring. We're just playing to see if you get it or not. Mm-hmm. But I can't say much because that's basically the way my number 5 is. My number 5 is the best game since Apples to Apples was created that gets people into gaming. I mean, into a party game. You can play this and it will never stop. I think it's supposed to last 7 rounds, but people will play forever, and that is Just One. Just One. I have never once seen this game not work, and it works with everybody. People who tell you they hate board games might like this one. I mean, it's just so much fun to put the simplicity of getting people to guess it, but you cross off the ones that match. And sometimes, every once in a while, someone has blank, which is hilarious. Or just one word. Or there's all the words that make sense, and then one person's clue. And you're like, why did you write that word?
Yes.
And I've set this up before at parties, and people played it, and then one person gets up to leave, and someone immediately sits down in their seat, and they've been playing like 40 times in a row now. Yeah. It's such. I would give this game to anybody, really. I like So Clover, but I think this is the one that came before So Clover. But what a good 1-2 punch for repos.
Yes,
absolutely. For party games. I like Just One better because it's so easy to get people to play.
The one caveat for me is I think you really do want that big group. This doesn't scale down nearly as well.
No. This is good
scales up.
But if you have 6 or 7, oh my word,
you need
it's such a good game.
You need the big group so that you have that much to work with as your clue, but also so that people will write the same thing and the gimmick in the game will actually trigger.
Yeah.
This idea of like, oh, you wrote balloon and you wrote balloon, those are eliminated from the clues that the guesser sees.
Well, one interesting thing I saw after Dice Tower East this last year, there's a group of people, I got sucked into it, playing in the hotel lobby after the convention closed down. And we're playing with like 14 people. And people just had a little drawing app on their phone. And so, yeah, some people had the boards that come with it. But 14's more than the, max number player count here. Huh. But it's not really, because you just write things. And then people are like, oh, we duplicate. Playing with 14 people doesn't make it easier or harder. It just kind of is because of that whole elimination thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Ooh, now I want to buy another set and put them together.
Yeah, you could play, I guess, with 2 sets of the...
Come on, where's my Just One party pack, repos? I just gave you an idea. I mean, Chris did. But he's currently on the clock for the Dice Tower. So I'm editing this one.
Also, where's the sequel?
It's in the contract.
Just 2? All right.
Tom, you criticized this game earlier in our discussion.
Oh, I don't remember what I said, but all right. I'm still opposed to it.
Yeah. My number 4 is 25 words or less.
I don't think he criticized it as much as it's like that game has one weird thing that could happen where only one team ends up playing a lot. And the other team wins, but didn't play.
Right.
Right. I really like the game.
Yeah.
But that flaw bothers me. I don't know how to fix it.
So in 25 words or less, you have you have two teams. You have 2 potential clue givers for the round who look at a card like that has 5 words. And the 2 of us are going to be bidding how few words we can use to make our team guess all 5 of those clues.
Yeah.
And that's really fun because it mixes an auction mechanism into a party game. And something about that is magic, and it works. And when I'm playing with someone who, for whatever reason, is insistent on underbidding me, I'll just play up the auction aspect of it. That part doesn't bother me. Like you say, it's a flaw of the game. I don't mind it because I just look at the person and I go...
It doesn't mind you, but I'm saying I've seen a lot of people, they're like, I didn't do anything.
But when you're not one of the 2 potential clue givers, then you're just people who are guessing the clues from your teammate.
I get that.
Yeah, so I think you might miss out on one little aspect of the game, but then play it again. I don't know. We pulled this one out at one of the last events that we did really late in the evening, and I just had such a fun time with it. And then I saw people pulling it out and playing it with an even bigger group at a different table later, and it just made me happy, and it made me say, I want to jump back into that game. Yeah. So yeah, this is very high up there for me. This game is originally from the 90s, I think, and this is the most current printing of it, but it holds up very well for me.
This is one of the games I had that original printing of.
It's like a super colorful box.
Yeah, I just remember being so upset that like no one knew about it or cared when Codenames came out and was mega popular. And I'm like, why does this one get to be so popular but nobody knows about 25 words or less? Oh, I know. There's a famous game designer's name on the box.
Well, Codenames didn't get their own game show.
No, they didn't because that game sucks.
Dice Tower does not approve of what Z just said.
He said he took credit for everything we said.
Oh no!
Word.
Oh no!
Okay,
We're on the
Tom
clock, Vasel.
thinks code names sucks. Code name pictures, that's all right.
Is that your number 4?
No, number 4 for me is going to be the classic, the modern classic, if I do say so myself, Dixit. I know.
Wow. I thought you might have gone with Stella.
It wasn't on the list, but again, as we talked about, I really like them about the same, and I kind of go back and forth based on the situation.
But this is partier.
This is partier,
I'm
yeah.
gonna let you talk in a minute, but also my number 4 is Dixit.
I'm gonna let you finish, is what you're supposed to say.
You're right. Sorry. My number 4 is also Dixit.
We crossed over. I called it. That's enough crossovers. Go ahead, Tom. Talk about Dixit.
No, I'll let you go back.
I'm sick of talking about Dixit.
You know
I'm
what?
just going to show you a picture about Dixit. How about that?
I love Dixit because it's so free form. I've always enjoyed that aspect of Dixit. The whole, you can say a paragraph if you want. You can also make it psychological and say, this card reminds me of Chris Yee. And then the whole game changes.
Yeah.
That does, yeah. I'll poison you.
Well, that's the card. Ha ha ha. I'm like dying. I'm like, I told you. I love the art. I love everything about this. And the new Disney Dixit is amazing. It really is fantastic.
The fact that it works pretty well is kind of amazing because you'd think, oh, you just resort to being like, oh, this character, oh, that thing. But no, the cards have enough going on.
You also don't want everyone to get it.
You don't want everyone to get it.
It's not the first game to do that. There was an out of the box. There was an old game from R&R actually that had something where you wanted everyone to get a clue and not one person. I forget what it was called.
I don't know that one. I don't
But
remember
Dixit was the
anywhere.
thing that made that popular, and it's
Yeah.
fun. I like Stella. I just think of Stella as more of the thoughtful Dixit.
Sure.
And for 4 people, Dixit, though, it works every time.
It's so good.
And it's my kids' favorite party game that they take the places.
Dixit Essential Edition is what you're calling it.
I do want a Dixit big box, but I made it. I have that one that uses Dixit, Mysterium,
Yeah.
Muse, Detective Club cards. I love it.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. This is one I've played at a lot of family gatherings, and it really works well. It's also language independent, so I can play in Spanish, and it just works.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I took it one time to a teacher convention and played it with some teachers, and I was impressed with the intellectual level of clues, and it still worked well. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can play with Mike DeLisio, who makes toilet jokes in the chat. Yeah,
Kakapoo.
it's got.
yeah, I don't get
red.
the flying toilet joke at all.
He's calling
Flying-
me a toilet.
Oh, that's cruel, Mike.
That is. I thought you were a teacher, Mike. Intellectual humor next.
Ooh, now we're to the top 3. These are great.
These are actually good games. Here we go.
This is my end of the my favorite end of the convention kind of a game. That's mostly what I play, like big group party games and such. And this one, there's 2 games. I'm picking one called Insider. You can also more easily find one called Werewords, which is practically the same game with a few extra little spices here and there. This is my last one that's kind of social deduction adjacent. There's a special word in the middle of the table.
Shoulder.
Shoulder, right? So basically what will happen is everyone closes their eyes, you flip it over, and you call a number, 1 through 6. And so 3, shoulder. Shoulder is the word. The person who is kind of running it, who needs to guess the word, says the insider, whoever is the little betrayer of the round, opens
That's
their
me.
eyes and sees the word, and then you close it over, everyone opens their eyes, and you're playing now 21 questions. You're asking yes or no questions, right? Is it big? Is it small? Is
No.
it in the
Yes.
house? Is it,
No. Yes.
yeah. All of these things, and the one person is just, I explained a little bit back, right? But anyway, I'm answering those yes or no. Tom knows what it is, and he's trying to
I'll say,
get
is
the
it
group
an
to guess it.
insect? Oh, no, I want the group to guess it, right?
You want the group to guess it, but you don't want to be obvious.
Is it a body part on your torso?
No, but that's weirdly suspicious. You might be the insider.
So that's the fun of it, right? Because it can
It
just
really
be
is fun.
It can just be any word. And therefore, when you're that insider, when you're the person who needs to kind of move the group towards the right direction, you're sitting there like, how do I do this? 5-minute timer. If they're not getting there in 2 minutes, I need to kind of give them a little bit of a push. It's the right level of social deduction stress that I don't tend to enjoy, but in this game I think that's great because it's around such a familiar framework. Yes, no question kind of game, right?
21 Questions is fun to play.
It is.
I mean, asking questions is fun.
Yeah, it's a thing
Yes, no, especially
everyone
yes,
does it on
no.
a car trip.
Yeah. So
Right.
this one inherently is very fun to play with, then a little social deduction twist on top. It is fun.
Yeah, the Where Words version has an app and it has more roles, it has more stuff going on. I kind of just like the purity of one person knows what it is and is trying to lead the group. So that's why my pick here, number 3, is Insider. But yeah, I love it.
Nice. All right, my number 3 is a crossover with Tom Vasel, and that is Just One.
Oh,
Just One is, like you said, fantastic. But I got to tell you, if you're not playing with 2 sets together in the same box, you're not really playing. 7
all joking
players
aside,
is not enough.
I think I'm going to do it. I have to make sure they fit into one box.
They
Though.
will fit into one box.
You have no idea.
I have 3 sets in one. That's so stupid. Just One is very, very fun, and like you said, it adapts to any group, so really good. That's it. That's my number 3. Tom said a lot about it, and I echo what he said.
It's not on my list, just to assuage the concerns of a 3-way crossover. I like it a lot. It's not in my top 10, but I think it is one of the most surefire games that everyone will have fun with. So yeah, it's great.
Do you own it?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't own a lot of party games, actually.
They're the only games I really do have at my house. Like the party. Well, okay, now I just come steal them from here, but.
Right.
All right, my number 3 is the oldest game on my list because I played this as a child, which is when it came out, all the way up till now, and it is still one of the greatest games ever made, and that is Balderdash. And I used to say Beyond Balderdash, but happily they've combined the two, so Balderdash now has all the different categories: laughable laws, marvelous movies, incredible initials, and peculiar people, and weird words. I like that. That works well. Balderdash is great. It is a game that when I used to play with my family, about halfway through the game, the lies were so obvious, but no one cared anymore.
The game breaks down for
because
sure.
they were just repeating other lies, and it didn't matter. Just people were like, I don't care if I win at all. I'm just trying to make everyone else at the table laugh, and it works. But you can also play it straight, and it's a very fun game. It works both ways. I think it works better than Telestrations. If you play Telestrations straight, it's kind of boring.
It is boring.
Balderdash straight is not as funny maybe as people being silly, but it still is funny.
Yes.
Because sometimes the real answer is so ridiculous.
It really is, yes.
And I just love it. I think it's great. My biggest annoyance with Balderdash is I need to keep finding more piece of paper to put in that box. I wish there was some efficient
Is
way.
there an app? Is there no way to do it in an app and send it to the one phone that somebody's
That'd be
holding?
nice. I don't know. I wish paper grew on trees.
Stupidity. All right, so Top 2.
Top 2. My number 2, while I agree that Balderdash works better whether you play it straight or not, my number 2 is Telestrations, the one that you want to just kind of fall off the
Oh,
rails.
it is on your list. Yeah.
I love Telestrations. I said Doodle Dash, I laugh probably the second most of any party game. This is the game that I laugh at the most.
I agree on that. It's so funny.
Yeah, and it's one of those amazing things where, you can't quite see the tray of poop in this picture.
Oh, I thought the top one was the tray of poop.
No, that's a couch.
Wait, that's a couch potato on the bottom?
Yeah.
And someone wrote tray of poop. Oh, I want to see the next picture, Chris.
I definitely wrote tray of food.
That was the end. That was the last guess.
Oh.
Right?
Nothing in my handwriting.
Oh my goodness, I love this game because of moments like that where sometimes you have a great illustration, you're like, wow, that's really good, and the person just flubs it.
Was that second one a couch potato?
What was that?
Was that a couch potato before that?
Yeah, it was couch potato.
Couch potato, yes.
Yeah, it made it through a few iterations of couch potato. It did it, it made it. and tray of poop right at the end. Sometimes they fall apart early, sometimes they fall
No,
apart
I got
late.
you, Roy. That definitely does not look like a couch potato. I might have said baked
I want a
potatoes.
tray of poop. It looks like a tray of poop.
Need I say more? This is why eat poop you cat. Like that's just one of the sentences that someone wrote, and I think that's kind of it became that moniker for the.
Yeah, that's what it's known as. It's sort of like an open public domain kind of thing.
Yeah.
I should do a side note here. Someone just mentioned in chat that there's a version of Balderdash and stuff and these even illustrations on Jackbox. I give a big hand to Jackbox. They're not board games per se, but they definitely fit in that category. And if you've never played them, the Jackbox series, if you like party games, are amazing. I didn't put them on this list. Maybe someday I'll do my top 10 Jackbox games. Like
That would be a great list, actually.
would
We
be.
should do that.
because there's like 40 of them, right, or something.
There's quite a few. 5, and there's now, they're about to release 10.
Oh, my
the
word.
Jackbox Party Pack number 10.
That's 50
So
games.
that's 50, I think, plus
Although there
some
is
of the other
several
ones.
that are
Yeah.
repeats, but yeah. Anyway, they're great, but they're not technically board games. They're not on the list.
Though I had to constantly be like, no. I don't know why. Like they're so close that I had to kind of remind myself.
They actually considered it.
No, not on purpose. Where I was like, Fibbage is a great party game. It's not a great party board game.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I had to kind of like just cross them off on my list.
Oh, Jackbox 10 comes out today. What?
What are we doing, Tom?
Wow.
Turn this video off. Actually,
That's really funny, actually, that I knew that 10 was coming. I did not realize it was coming out today. What are the odds of that?
I'll tell you what.
Are we sponsored by Jackbox?
We'd love to be. Just call me.
Call us up, Jackbox.
Yeah, but no kidding. I'm going home and downloading that. I'm playing that with my family tonight.
Tonight.
My whole family loves Jackbox
That's awesome. That's great.
because it works. It works across the board. Even Jimmy's just sitting there drawing some weird thing or whatever, and everyone laughs.
Is it a poop tray?
It's often a poop tray.
Here we go.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is a game that I think no one cares about or possibly has played.
That's correct.
It's a game called Wink. Mm-hmm. It is from Blue Orange. It is one of those games that I bring to a lot of events, again, and I always have a good time with, and it's the kind that I would explain and you go, this seems really stupid, and then you start playing and you're going to want to play again and you're going to want to play again. It's just fun. The game is, you have a deck of cards with little faces and numbers. You have 2 identical decks. You lay one out on the table, face up everywhere, and you deal the other one, the identical one, to everybody. On your turn, you have a little pawn. You put it on a card in the center of the table that is not in your hand, one you don't have, that somebody else has. And you have until the beginning of your next turn to go, Martin has the card, and then Martin goes, yes, I do. And he gets a point for that card, and I get a point from the one in the center, and then I take my little pawn and move it to another card that I don't have. And once again, I have until the beginning of my next turn to go, Steve has that one. Now, how do I know that? They have to wink at me without getting caught by anybody else.
I played this game as a kid. It was called Ice Cream. It wasn't ice cream, but one person had to wink at someone else without the other people catching.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. It's
They made it
called
a game?
Ice Cream.
Well, it's I think like a genre of game. There's a lot of like those hidden only eyes communicate games.
Oh, Masquerade did that a little bit too. Bruno Fedudis.
Did?
Yes.
That was like, really?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that. Anyway, I always have a really fun time with this, and people immediately, like, you explain it, and people go, okay, sure, whatever. And then you're like, literally 1 round in, and everybody's like, doing this whole thing. You're looking out for somebody to wink at you. Somebody does wink, and you like give them the subtlest of nods. You're like, you know what I mean? It's just funny. It's so incredibly funny to me catching someone while they're, winking. You're like, I caught you. It's like such a revelation. It's like you just unmasked a spy. You know what I mean? It's just a fun game, and it has very few rules. This is what I've played on the cruises, a few of the cruises, at retreats, at conventions. I always have a good time with this one. Very simple to play, very fun, rambunctious, a little bit of that nervous tension. I love it. So my number 2, Wink.
Never tried, never heard of it.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Oh, it's my number 2. My number 2 is the classic, the greatest. Actually, not. It's the second greatest. It's been my number one for ages, though.
Apples to apples.
And that's Time's Up.
Yeah, that one.
Time's Up. What a great game. Whether it's Time's Up, Title Recall. Although the new Time's Up, I have no interest in. What is that one? The Time's Up.
Poop tray.
No, it was like Time's Up. Oh, Objects.
Yeah.
Like Time's Up and it's broom. I just feel like that's boring. I'll be like, and was like, you're doing the broom. I mean, I don't get that it's objects like vacuum cleaner.
Yeah,
And,
that's kind of too obvious, maybe. It needs to be something you can get lost within.
yeah, it's
So like
like
if it's like Elvis Presley and the Beatles, and then it's like
in the picture it's Bernie Mac, and someone doesn't know who Bernie Mac is, but they know what a Big Mac is. So they're like, the last name is like a McDonald's sandwich, and then in the future ones, you pretend you're eating a hamburger, and people are like, Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac, yeah.
yeah,
Stuff like that happens
Yes.
in every game, and it's hilarious. I love it. And yes, I know a lot of people like monikers better, but I don't know. Monikers doesn't work for me, especially I don't like the rule change in monikers. There was a rule change I didn't like. And also, monikers, they make the categories silly. I think the game itself works all right with normal stuff.
It's the right mix of normal stuff. The famous people and the historical figures.
Yeah, but
I
you
like
trying
that a
to
lot.
do that is already funny.
Yes.
I don't need you to be a zombie technician. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know a lot of people love monikers. I love Time's Up way better.
My number one's a crossover. Guess with whom?
Time's Up. That is me.
Absolutely not.
it's with
You don't
me.
like Time's Up?
No, I like it a lot. It just didn't make my list.
I'm gonna say it's with me, and it's gonna be
Wink.
no, not Wink. Did you do Soul Clover already?
It's so clover.
That's your number one?
This is
Woo-hoo-hoo!
This is the right level of thinky where it's just a little bit more involved, but also as soon as people see what the game is, they know how to play. I think that that's a brilliant mix. The first time I saw the rules for this, I almost thought, I don't think this could work. And it does work so smoothly. I have so much fun with it. My favorite party game. It's my favorite game to introduce to people. It's, with big groups and stuff. And I don't know, it always goes off really well. I love it.
I am I'm not that I'm ignoring you, but I'm trying to figure out Z's number one because there's 3 games he hasn't mentioned.
Okay, which ones?
You haven't mentioned that one that only you like, the one where you're trying to match with the 2 decks. I can remember
Right,
that.
right.
Compatibility.
Compatibility.
Right.
You haven't mentioned Time's Up, but I know you love it. And you haven't
Time's
mentioned...
Up, it's okay. I don't love Time's Up that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
Deception, Murder in Hong Kong has too many rules for this, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I also have not mentioned Balderdash,
Oh, that's true.
but it's not Balderdash.
Oh, that's just falling off your list.
Balderdash. Again, I never finished the game. It just sort of devolves.
True.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's kind of like also why I didn't put Telestrations. I think Telestrations, the game, is not that good. Telestrations, the activity, one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Balderdash, the sort of stupid go off the rails game, fantastic.
All right, well, then we're back to compatibility.
Its compatibility is my number one.
This was your number one last time.
Probably.
Yes, I looked it up.
Don't look at my lists, okay? Keep your eyes off my lists.
Get your lists out of...
My number one compatibility. Yeah, so compatibility is you have a deck of images and a word. This is Stella, basically. This is kind of like Dixit plus this is Stella.
Okay.
Kind of, you have a word and you have a deck of cards and a partner in the game, and you're picking your top X, normally it's 5, top 5 strongest associations to the word. So if that word is fresh, well, I'm looking for 5 cards. Like, oh, that person looks fresh. Ooh, that car looks newly cleaned and fresh. Ooh, that, Vista, it looks very, like, fresh. Whatever.
A Subway.
Subway, eat fresh. So you pick 5, you arrange them. Okay. I like that. And then you reveal them. I don't know what's going on.
Arguably.
Oh my gosh, Mike DeLisio.
Wow.
Anyway, you reveal them and then you see if you match. with your partner, and you move ahead on a track if you did. That's it. That's the game. But I love, again, that it makes you, like in Stella, come up with reasons as to why. Some of the categories are such stretches, you know what I mean? You're like, and some you have too many cards for, and you have to kind of like whittle it down to 5, you know?
Yeah.
I really enjoy this game. I wish that there was a fresher edition of it, actually a newer one. Mine is pretty old and kind of busted. And they put out a few printings of this, but I would love one that looks better, that is newer, looks better, has more cards maybe. As it is, I really, really enjoy it. So my number 1 is compatibility.
All right. A lot of people are guessing Ready, Set, Bet.
I was expecting Time's Up. I know Ready, Set, Bet is not on the list for you.
Yeah.
No, because
I was gonna guess Time's Up. I mean, what else? That's like your number 1.
I also didn't put Faces. A lot of people are guessing Faces because my copy of Faces is amazing and I love playing it, but it's like the only one in the world, so that doesn't count.
Right.
No, my number 1 is
Just 2.
No. I told you guys I like this better. Of all the new party games that have come out with the Dixit style, this is by far my favorite.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Detective Club.
Yeah, Detective Club.
Eat poop, you tray.
So that's the thing. Detective Club marries so many mechanisms together, but the thing I love best about it is a lot of people say I can't play this game because I'm terrible at lying. And I found that those people are also terrible at telling the truth. And it works so well because they'll sit there and their face is sweating as they tell the truth why they pick cards. And everyone at the table's like, you're a liar. And I love it. Because what you do is you place cards out. Everyone knows a word except one person. And then everyone plays cards that are matching that word. And then everyone has to explain why they picked these cards. And the liar, once they hear the word, they have to quickly come up with a lie. Like, oh, the word is bird. Well, there's a bird on my card. I got lucky, you know. That's why I played this one. This one with a plate of spaghetti, because birds can eat spaghetti. So doesn't sound great. But then someone else, they didn't have good cards in their hand. And so they're trying to say, I didn't have good cards in my hand. I swear. I don't know. I love this. It's my favorite game to play with my family. It's my favorite game to play at conventions. I really like it.
This is the one that makes up for the fact that when you play Dixit and someone says bird for some awful reason as their word, and you don't have a bird card, or when someone says like majestic and all your cards look horrifying, you're like, I don't have a single majestic card. This is the one game that you can talk your way out of that. It never works in Dixit. It never works in any of the other games like it.
Yeah, this is why I like it better than Dixit, although I like Dixit so much, it's also on the list. I consider putting Muse on the list. I like this style a lot.
Yeah, games with a lot of gorgeous artwork, which is a pretty new genre. Dixit kind of kicked it off. They're great. They are hard. It's the kind of thing you never would have seen in the past because of the sheer amount of artwork you need.
Right.
Well, that's a lot of artwork they had to commission for this game.
Party games used to look like compatibility.
Right.
And
stills, like open, like just pictures of crap, whatever, that they would compile. If it had imagery at all, if it wasn't just words.
Right.
But this new style of party game that is a party game, it's fun, it's bombastic, all of that stuff, and it looks amazing, that's kind of unheard of. And I love that genre of games. This is one I need to play more of.
There are so many.
I really do like it. It's really fun.
There's so many good party games. I mean, again, there's only a few great ones, but I could make a top 100 party games. People are talking about you didn't mention this game and this game. You're right. There's just so many good games out there.
I can make a 25 or less.
There's also a lot of games out there I don't consider party games. Like someone just listed a bunch of Bang the Dice game. Not really a party game. It's a light, fun game. I just don't consider it a party game.
There's too many rules for it to be a party game for me.
And then there's also a lot of games that are very in-depth. I don't know that I would consider Blood on the Clock Tower a party game because everyone's over in the corner for 2.5 hours.
Right.
And they're thinking and they're furious and stuff. That's not party. I don't think Werewolf could necessarily be a party game. Yes, you could play it at parties. Have you tried it? It doesn't work well at parties. It works well when you get people together to play Werewolf.
Right.
That's the easiest social deduction game. That's one I could...
I've tried it, Chris, and then I'm like, and 4 adults all raise their head when I say, "Seer, look at me." I'm like, I only handed out 1 Seer card. 3 of you are morons.
I don't know.
Teach my children.
It must have been like
I said it nicer than that.
a 2000s LDS community thing where we would, a lot of people would play Mafia.
Yeah, that's true.
With a deck of cards. And we would have 40 people sitting around together and they'd be like, hey, we have a deck of cards, let's play Mafia. I don't know. That one always seems to go off at parties in my experience, but yeah, if you had enough bad experiences.
It's just, it's not that they're necessarily bad, it's just I'm like, oh, I see. I really should I have to teach a bunch of rules and go over things and stuff. It just feels like a different, to me, social deduction is party game adjacent. They're close. And there is a little bit of bleeding over from one to the other. Like Detective Club technically is one person doesn't know the word. But it's different. I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
there's not a lot of logic and writing and thinking and you type stuff.
Right. So someone mentioned Decrypto in the chat, and I love that game. That's one of my favorite adjacent games because I'm not playing and teaching Decrypto at a party.
Decrypto is a great game. It is unfortunately slightly clunky in its rules. And yeah, I remember the first time I learned it, I was like, okay, hold on. Run through that through me again. Team A guesses. Team B is betting on whether we'll guess. Then Team A checks their guess. It's a thing. There's a flow chart kind of vibe to it, which keeps it from being quite a party atmosphere.
Yeah, Codenames could easily have been on this list. It's just not in my top 10.
Codenames Pictures, I gotta tell you, I don't own it. I used to own it. I really like Codenames Pictures. I think that one is a much better game for me than any of the other versions that they've come out with.
My favorite's the Duo or whatever the
Duet, I think is what they call it.
But that's obviously far from a party game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, huge props though. I think Codenames
I might do 90 more great games.
90 more great party games.
Yeah,
then.
I might.
Just 90?
Well, I'm not going past 90. That's that would be insanity.
All right.
All right. Hey, you know what tomorrow is?
Tomorrow's Friday.
It is Friday. I've been waiting for this all day.
Oh my goodness. Is it Friday yet?
You know, you were the one who wanted a normal week. We have a normal week.
I know, I'm just being silly.
He's not being silly. We're afraid. All right, anyway.
That was a long laugh.
That
was a really long laugh for the fact that it's like, a thing that happens every week.
Let me enjoy this. Revel in my laughter.
Alrighty, folks.
Just 90. Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. If you're watching this later in the comments, tell us what your favorite party game is. And then if you like someone else's party game, thumb it up. Let's see what party games get voted to the top. But until next time, I'm Don Vasel.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And we're going to a party.
Woo!
Everybody sing